28 to 40.
Yeah.
So like everything's fucking through the roof. I gotta pass it
File.
on. Yo, dude, forget it.
Yeah,
Forget it.
like,
We used to change the oil here every day because we had to, because we were finding so many meatballs. Now we're filtering it. We have to, so we
I'm
filter
filtering and
Yeah.
I'm moving it from the lesser
Yeah.
used fryer
Yep.
at the end of the day to the other fryer,
Yeah.
and I'm doing this little dance of
Yeah.
oil.
It's the craziest shit I've ever seen, man. But I mean, it's like the problem I'm seeing is that there is no, so like Ken turned off getting the other 300 assistants, so I'm thinking I was gonna help.
Well, last week was the last check date.
Yeah.
So the 26th was the last file date.
Yep.
So they got their last check
Okay.
on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday
So
last
maybe we'll
week.
see an uptick
Yeah,
now.
so, but you know people don't want to go to work till they're broke, so.
So they're probably off. Dude, I have a buddy of mine, he was working at White Bull. He left January of 2020, right? Moved to Asheville. Had like $500 in cash. He was a great employee, so I cut him a check for $2,000, dude. I was like, thank you so much for all your hard work. He's my son calls him his best friend. Like he's just such a good kid. And he's actually not a kid, he's like 43 years old. But moves up to Asheville, met a girl, her family runs 4 different trailer parks. He became the manager of them all, makes $550 a week. He's totally underpaid. Does that, got his $2,000 check from the stimulus, put $2,000 in Dogecoin at 0.00008, hit 70 cents, made $825,000. He goes, I'll never work again. He goes, I will live off the 500, and I would sit on 800,000 for the rest of my life. He goes, if I ever need anything, I'll get. He goes, but I'm never working more than 40 hours again in my life. But I feel like a lot of that shit happened now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these kids
But if I wouldn't have had all these responsibilities, I would have put my
Fuck
money
yeah.
into that shit.
Do you mind
know?
making one more for him? He loves Negronis as well. I agree. But we can't.
Yeah.
We're fucking, you have to. I mean, like when
What
all
if you
that-
put our money in and it tanked, you
Yeah.
know, and then like.
so like for me, like when everything happened, the way everybody was talking, you kind of knew it wasn't going to be 2 weeks. So I was like, so White Bull, I kept it open for like at least another month, shut it down. This was still, we just opened this one, so I moved all that staff to here, helped to get this up and running. And then we reopened White Bull, and I redid, like, I put like 97,000 back into it, not in just cash, but I redid the whole front, put a huge back patio on the back.
Yeah.
So like put a fuck ton of money back into it, and now, thank God, I mean, it paid off, but that easily could have not paid off.
Yeah.
And then what?
Dude,
Now
that
you're sitting on
patio is
zero.
awesome on Mondays. Dude,
Yeah.
that's the only place in town to
Yeah.
go. That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
love
like
that, man.
here or White Bull, dude.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Thank you,
you
man.
did a good move. The patio is
I had
awesome
to.
out there.
I had to.
The mulberry trees kind of sucked out there, didn't they?
Dude, so we build that structure back there as a temporary, right? So the city wouldn't know. The city's still not approved that. They won't approve it. They're like, well, at some day we may need it, and you have to just fucking gut it all. So I'm like, listen, man, if I'm building it and shit ain't coming down, I'm leaving it the fucking way it is.
Yeah.
So it was literally like, it was months of arguing between me and the city. And then finally they allowed me to build it in October. So I put it up, and then they still were like, oh, but that can't be permanent, that can't be permanent, that can't be permanent. I'm like, listen, dude, so I built the fucking bar right there now, so now I got the bar. So now actually, right before, like around September, we're actually taking everything down, except for the fence, and then we're gonna build a pergola. So you could put, and then you could take like the plastic roof off if you want to, if it's nice out, put it back on if it's gonna rain, or during mulberry season, fucking put them on.
Yeah.
Cause it was bad, dude. Like it cost me, it was $1,428 in dry cleaning. That was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe this is my problem now.
Mhm.
Like it started with
Came
not
out
having-
there during the height of it,
Oh,
you know, and
God.
I was like, oh man, these mulberries are nice, and the guy's like, yeah, they're real nice.
Dude, it's funny because like every once in a while you'll get a really nice person that like understands like what's happening and everything, and they'll just go up there. They were climbing on tables, eating the mulberries off the trees. I was like, oh. it was fun for like the first 2 weeks, right? We were catching them all, made mulberry jam, made a cocktail of mulberry, and then after that it's like, I mean, what do you do with 100 pounds? They were dumping close to 100 pounds of mulberry every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
It's fucking brutal. It was awful, dude. It was awful.
Yeah.
So real quick, I mean, just kind of give you the gist of what we're gonna do. Just gonna like just talk, see, you know, whatever you want to talk about. You know, I'm basically gonna ask you, you know, how you got to where you are and all that stuff. I'm gonna tell you to give me your story, and then we're just gonna shoot the shit. I'll cut you off all the time because I fucking have to, and I gotta ask thousands of questions, and you're probably gonna get off topic, but I'll try to bring you back to the topic after.
Okay.
And then at the end we do spitfire questions, so like, you know, like real quick, this or that type thing, and then I try to go 30 to 45 minutes. So
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
Anything you don't want to talk about. I don't talk politics, and I don't talk religion. And I'll mention COVID for like 3 seconds, and I get off that subject.
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't have an opinion about most things anyway.
Same. We so last week I had the GM of White Bull and my cousin on, this chef there, and that goes south quick, those conversations. So I was just like, all right, let's bring it back. And then it was like an hour and 15 in. I'm like, guys, land the fucking plane. Give me the story. Let's fucking go. But it was interesting. So this is only the 3rd episode, so we're still all just trying to get used to it. Microphone. I just got these the other day because it made life a little easier, but try to pull it as close to your mouth as possible. And then I think I know how to turn this on.
Mic check.
I think you just press record and then play.
With the button on
yeah.
the side turns it on.
Yeah.
So I think I got that.
Yeah. So I think it
Thank
just
you.
takes a second to pick up. Just- As long as you see like the things moving up and down,
Okay.
I think that means it's good to
Record.
So
All
now
right,
talk.
check. Hello? Oh, wait, hold on.
It says low battery.
Probably is.
Can we change the batteries?
Yeah. Hello? Hello?
It's
Hello?
going down.
Okay. Yeah, good thing we bought all those batteries.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down and go to the restroom
Yeah,
before
do
we
your
get
thing,
started.
man.
So I'm gonna
Absolutely,
cut
do
it
your
in the middle.
Yeah.
Damn, those batteries die fast, huh?
Yeah, they did.
So he went to his son in Avondale. It's like literally my favorite restaurant around. And like doing his dinner, he's like, all right, man, you want to get fucked up? He's like, yeah. You want to get fucked up? I'm like, what do you think? Fucked up? He's like, no, get fucking drunk. I was like, no. He was, well, you want to get high? I was like, no, dude. I'm trying to fucking cook. Yeah, I go, you know how south this is gonna go if I get fucked up right now? I was like, I'm not, like, cause I don't, again, I
Wait,
don't,
turn it up.
I don't do shit like that. So like, it's, goodbye, see you soon. Jesus Christ. And that's gonna be very, very masculine of me, but I don't want to break my nails. I'm trying to do it.
I got it. I need to get my nails done
Yeah?
anyway. Just take these batteries out.
Yeah. Try not to break this fucking thing. Make me nervous.
It's so close.
I think it was supposed to be underneath, but just not. Never got that one. See if I can do this. I don't know if we're gonna end up.
I have a key, new key.
Yeah, maybe. The nice little thing was on right now.
There you
Shit.
go.
Hey, I got it. Yeah. See how good these extra strength Duracells are. You know you're getting older in life when an extra strength Duracell battery excites you. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I've never seen these before. Holy shit, look at these things. Extra strength, let's go. There you go. Perfect.
Did you just get these off Amazon?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah, it was
Very
like we had the
fancy.
little ones, and like you'd be talking and the legs would give out. So then you're like, that's all you're fucking hearing. So I'm like, shit. So I was like, you know what? These things were $8 each. Would be perfect.
Okay, let's try it again.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, I don't know if this is on.
It's pushed
Stop.
up to the top, right?
Yes.
Give it a test.
Yeah, do that. Hell yeah. All right,
Would
hello.
you just test talking into it?
Mic check.
Perfect, man.
Okay. we're
All right,
good.
we can get started. All right, so I'll introduce the podcast and stuff. All right, guys. Welcome to Salt Your Pasta Water podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Hudson Rouse or Rouse? Rouse, perfect. Hudson Rouse of Rising Sun in Avondale Estates. So I don't tell many people this. Actually, I tell a lot of people this, but I'm going to tell you to your face because I don't think I've ever told you this. But the reason why I had you on so early on is because you have my favorite restaurant in the city. By hands down. I mean, I sent you a an Instagram DM one day, and I was like, dude, I respect the shit. I mean, from growing it all yourself to putting it on the table, the whole experience with having your wife there and your kids there. Like, I mean, that dinner we did is still the most memorable dinner I've done in Atlanta. So thank you so much for putting out such badass food. And you can swear as much as you want on this too, which is even better. There's gonna be a big E next to all of our stuff. So cheers to you, my man. Enjoy this. Let's enjoy these Negronis. But so I mean, for the people that obviously don't know who you are, a lot of people still don't know who I am. But tell us about yourself. Who is Hudson? Where'd you start?
I'm actually an untrained hack. Not a lot of people know that,
I love
or
that.
they may.
I love that.
I started out about 7 years ago. Decided I wanted to be a chef and own a restaurant. Prior to that, I had kids, went to college, got an economics degree.
How long has Rising Sun been open?
Rising Sun's been open 5 years.
Wow, congrats to you. That's
So maybe
amazing.
about like 8 or 9 years I started on this path.
Okay.
Prior to that, went to college, was going to follow in my dad's footsteps, take over his insurance agency, sell
Yep.
insurance.
Yep.
Went to college, did all of that, sold insurance for 7 years, and basically wanted to blow my brains
Of course,
out every
hated
day.
everything in your life.
Yeah. Except for Fridays playing golf and getting drunk. That was the best part about the job. Just one day I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. Didn't know then I wanted to cook, but I wanted to farm and grow vegetables. So I got into farming.
Which is amazing, dude. Like I follow it religiously when you're doing all the farming stuff in the backyard and like how you like cleared the field and you're doing all the stuff like that's all every time I watch it and I see you like picking all the stuff, I'm like, dude, save the tops. Send me the radish tops. I want the tops all the time. My mom does this dish where like a lot of people do escarole beans with escarole, obviously. My mom does them with radish tops. My mom's the woman that grows the radishes for the tops.
Oh, wow.
And tills the radishes back
radishes
in because she's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Well, her soil's probably great because the radishes actually are a minor crop, so they throw that taproot way down to the subsoil.
That's awesome.
They pull up all of those minerals, so by tilling it in, she's probably got the richest soil around.
That's amazing. I love it.
But I actually was an untrained farmer, and I kind of acted like I knew what I was doing. I took over an established farm in East Atlanta Village down the street from my house, the East Atlanta Village Mennonite Farm.
Okay.
When the farmer left, and fake it till you make it, just about anything. And I took over that farm for a couple of years with a really good friend of mine, and kind of went from there.
So when you were younger, did you have like entrepreneurship tendencies? Like, did you sell lemonade? Did you do any of that stuff, or you just like your first go at it was the restaurant?
That was the first real go at it.
I love it.
Not a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies, a lot of competitiveness because I have a twin brother.
Of course.
So like me and him were either going at it or or best friends all the time.
It's funny because like Amelia runs all of our social media and she's here behind the scenes, but I say it all the time. I was like, I want to kill everyone. That's how competitive I am. Not in a physical way, but just in business and in everything. Like, like when I drive by a restaurant and I see that they're busy and mine's not, I get aggravated. But I'm also happy for the fact that they're busy. I mean, like, there's a lot of days where I drive through Decatur and we may be the busiest restaurant, but then, a week later, Leon's is, or 246 is, or somebody else like that is, and you're happy for them, but you still want to kill them deep inside.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
you're
So
happy for them. But when we first opened Rising Sun in Avondale, there's a Waffle House in Avondale, and Avondale is the home of the original Waffle House.
down the
And so
road,
I
that's
would
right.
drive by that every morning, and every morning I would count the number of cars in the parking lot and try to see, but now it doesn't bother me.
Of course.
I don't even look at the Waffle
Of course.
House parking lot,
Of
but
course.
and it was a throwback when I was in high school. I worked at a Chinese restaurant in town. It was my first restaurant experience and my first restaurant job. And my boss, we would be slow, and he would say, "Hudson, get in your car. Go over Hunan Palace, count the number of cars in the parking lot, come back."
That's fantastic.
And I think I did that once or twice
That's
to my
great.
staff about the Waffle House when
That's
we
great.
first opened. But you know, I'm competitive like that, but just like you, I want all my friends to succeed.
Yeah.
But then I also, you know, want butts in the seats,
Of course.
you know, and you want to know why. And when you're passionate about it from the morning you wake up until the moment that you go to bed at night,
Yeah, that's all you think about.
That's all you think about.
Of course.
There's no way to stop it.
Yeah, and for me, just like you, because I could tell the type of person you are. For me, it's like, you know, I mean, I was having this conversation the other day. I was like, for me to make an extra $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 a year, it's not going to change my life that much, right? But for me to put an extra $300 a week in my staff's pockets, that makes more sense, right? So like, you know, one thing I've learned that was, it's probably COVID that did it, was, I mean, you know, it just be a good person, right? At the end of the day, like, you be a good person, you take care of the staff that's around you, take care of your team, you invest in your team. You know, that's what's making me more competitive right now. It's like, I want to make sure that my servers at White Bull and my servers at Grana are walking away with $1,200-$1,300 a night, $1,200-$1,300 a week. And like, that's the most important thing in my mind, right? Listen, at the end of the day, if you do your job correctly as an owner and you know your numbers and everything like that, you're going to put some money to the bottom line and you live off that. And for me, and it's probably the same exact for you, is I've learned how to be frugal in life, right? I can live off of a certain amount of money. I don't need to make $500,000 a year. Granted, yes, I'd love to. It'd be fantastic to make $500,000 a year. It'd be awesome. But for me, I would just open more restaurants.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna cook our food regardless, whether it's at home or here. So like,
Yeah.
I'm eating what I would eat anyway at my restaurant. I'm drinking my Negronis at work
Yeah.
with my favorite gin, and
course.
you know, and
What is your favorite gin?
right now I like St. George because
Okay.
they got a couple of different ones.
Are you a botanically guy, or do you like the London Dry? What's your
I like London Dry, but
Yeah.
I'm into the botanicals.
Yeah, same.
Actually, in between my story, I actually opened an import company, and I had a wine import company,
Wow.
as well as a broker in Georgia, and I was really into gin. We were gonna make gin for the Holman and Finch guys when Holman and Finch was open, and
Yeah.
we went to a distillery in Tennessee, and I really delved into gin really far
Nice.
for a while there. And
Is that your favorite spirit?
I don't really. My favorite are Amoros.
Yeah,
you know, I
same.
love Fernet Branca. I love Montenegro in the summer with
Yeah.
bitter lemon and Campari, and those are the things that I always keep, you know, in my liquor cabinet at
Yeah, of
home.
course.
Because I can have sparkling water and just, you know, it's
Yeah.
very easy. Sparkling water, a little dash of lemon, and that's it.
It's funny growing up and listening to my dad when we would go out to dinner. Now, granted, growing up, my dad never took us out to dinner. So like, we went out to dinner maybe 4 times my entire childhood, right? But every time he sat down, he goes Campari and soda. I'm like, this shit's gross. Why the hell would you drink that? And then as soon as I turned like 24 years old, I'm like, start every meal with a Campari and soda.
Mhm.
You just have to. You get
Yeah.
the ball rolling, get everything going.
Stay
and then
hungry,
that's
right?
it. And then you end every meal with an Amaro.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. You know, I mean, for me, it's Fernet really took off in my like life when, actually kind of like when I moved here. So really funny story, because we both know Craig Richards. And so Craig and I used to live in the same building. And him and I would, like, first night we moved into Atlanta, so 4 years ago, 2017, moved to Atlanta. My wife's at home. I was like, Craig, you want to go out for a cocktail? And he's like, yeah, let's go downstairs to the Wheeling and let's have some beers. I was like, okay. So $275 later, Craig and I drank in beer and Ferrari shots.
Oh yeah,
Fernet and
Campari, yeah.
And
Vroom,
man,
vroom.
that was an interesting night, man. But it was really funny. But yeah, I mean, I for me, my favorite gin right now has to be, I like Ford's a lot.
We have Ford's as our house
yeah,
gin.
I
We
love
don't-
that, man.
yeah.
I love that in a Negroni. It does exactly what it has to do. But I'm an Uncle Val's fan. I like
Uncle
some Uncle
Val's?
Val's, yeah, and I love Bar Hill too. Bar
Mhm.
Hill's fucking delicious.
I don't
man.
think I've had Bard Hill.
We got some here. I'll give you a little bit to
Okay.
try. But that, for me, all the botanically ones, I like it as just a gin and tonic. You know, I want to taste the gin, and then I want a good tonic, and that's it. You know, throw a lime in it, throw a lemon in it, whatever. But the London Dries for me, it's perfect for Negronis.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far out there on the botanical. I do like a little hint of mint,
Yeah.
a little hint of black pepper in there. And,
Absolutely.
but usually I'm London Dry. I just ask, you know, what do you have this dry?
Yeah.
Put it in my Negroni and I'll be fine.
So you were importing and started your own company for that side of it, and then how long between that and Rising Sun?
Let's see, I started importing in 2007 with my best friend. He's from Macedonia, so we were
Oh, nice.
importing Macedonian wine.
Nice.
Vranets, Plavik, a bunch of wines that nobody ever even heard of in
Yep.
Atlanta, and we did that for about 4 or 5 years, and then once we broke the market, all of our contracts were bought out. The largest winery in Macedonia, Tickfish Winery, is owned by the Coca-Cola Bottling Company. So after we
Wow.
established a footprint here, somebody set up another broker. They came in, pretty much undercut us on all of our contracts. We're sitting, you know, with warehouse full of wine. We were selling to Michigan, Ohio, California, Georgia. I had 12 states. I don't remember which ones at the time. And basically everything was just bust then because we were going against, you know, big money. And, you know, liquor is big money.
Yeah,
it's tough to get in as a little guy and succeed. And we were successful for a long time. I had an office in Decatur, like right by White Bull. It used to be my stomping ground. So if I was successful then, you would definitely know me as a patron. But I met a lot of people. It kept me in the restaurant business, and I knew that I loved restaurants and food, and that was kind of my entree into farming and getting more into food. Is I knew everybody in town because we would, you know, handpick the restaurants that we liked, and I'm like, okay, well, I want Billy Aylen at Cakes and Ale to have my Vronix on the menu, and Billy liked it. I put it on the menu there, put it on the menu at Home and a Finch, put it on the menu at Restaurant Eugene. So we had our products in all of the restaurants that we like to go to, and part of what I want to do is eat every day. I want to enjoy it. I want to eat the best, and we wanted our product to be in those places, you know, where what we thought was the best. And I don't know if it's my passion to succeed or my passion for food and drink that led me here, or a combination of both. But
so how did you find the Rising Sun Space? What took you to Avondale? Out of
the Rising Sun Space at the time, I was the chef at Homegrown on Memorial Drive.
Absolutely.
We had a huge garden out there. It was a perfect fit for me. And somebody called me one day and said, "Hey, Hudson, this space is available. The Bishop is closing." One of our customers that lived in Avondale. And I told the owner about it, and then he went to look at it and said we could open this up together. And then he came back and goes, "No, this is not for us. We're not doing it. We're not doing it." And I was crushed, you know, because I just didn't want to work for somebody the rest of my life. I'm the kind of person that's a really good employee, but also I don't like a ceiling. You know, I want to have my freedom. I want to create my own ceiling. And when he told me that, you know, we're not doing it, that instant minute I thought, fuck you. I'm doing it. Okay. So nobody knew that I worked for him, and they all looked at it. So I found my own real estate agent, and I told them I wanted to look at it. And this was November of 2015. And we went to look at it. Me and Catherine, we'd just been married on October the 10th of 2015.
Awesome.
And
she's a sweetheart, by the way.
Thank you.
Huge sweetheart. Huge sweetheart.
We go to look at it. She really didn't want it because she'd seen Avondale, you know, her whole life. She's from Stone Mountain. Nothing ever happened in Avondale. Avondale's always been a dead zone. Several other restaurants had been to look at it. Terry went to look at it here in the Pine Street Market. Nick Melvin, they were courting this place to all of the well-known chefs in town. But I'm a schlep over there at Homegrown, you know, just like a little farmer guy that's just cooking on his own. And Catherine and I put our heads together, and we got a real estate agent. We came up with a proposal that we put on paper. We bought a moleskin book and made the moleskin book look like a menu, and she decorated the outside of it. I said, well, this is going to be the menu, and we wrote the menu down where you'd scroll through there. We tore out like every other 5 pages of it so it would seem thick and it would seem like a menu, but it was total like a $15 proposal was what we put into it. Went and met with the owners and told them what we wanted to do, and never heard anything. And at the time I was 39 years old, and I had been telling people, my kids primarily, I'm going to open a restaurant before I turn 40. Your dad's going to do something, you know. And I'd been divorced several years before, and kind of just working my ass off, broke, you know.
Of course.
Didn't hear anything. Went there in November, didn't hear anything. Just kept working at Homegrown, and the day before my 40th birthday on February 5th.
That was probably hard, right? Sitting there, knowing you put a proposal down, and then just waiting.
Not hearing anything, but then knowing I'm still working for the people that didn't believe in me enough to open a new restaurant, but wanted me to continue running their restaurant, but didn't want to give me anything more, and was almost out of my mind. And then all of a sudden, my real estate agent, Barb Rowland, calls me, and she goes, "Hudson, you got it."
Wow.
And I go, "What?"
How long did it take to figure out?
It was from November until February the 5th. And I turned 40 on February the 6th.
That's too funny.
The day before my 40th birthday, she says, "You got it." I mean, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. You know, I remember my son going, "Dad, you did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
That's
You
awesome,
finally
man.
did it."
I
And he
love
was
it.
so happy for me. We couldn't believe that we got it. You know, couldn't believe it. Gave my employer a month's notice.
Yep.
Said I'm gone in a month, and they said, "You're done now." Cut it off that day.
Yeah.
So
Very similar story with that for me.
yeah, that's
Yeah, so,
usually how it goes. You know?
So not to cut you off, but so January 2017, I started working at the Optimist, and you know, I mean, I was working there the whole time. Always knew that I wanted to open a restaurant again because I left Connecticut owning a restaurant, sold it while I was here, and then was just like, you know what, screw it. If I'm going to come down here, I'm going to work for somebody, get my name out there a little bit, figure it out. And then 6 months in, just kind of just knew what I wanted to do, and knew that, you know, working corporate and working for a big name like that was just not, you know, was just not my cup of tea anymore. You know, I mean, it was no matter what, it was never going to be my show. It was always going to be somebody else's. No matter how hard I worked. I mean, we went from 6.2 million a year at the Optimist when I was there my year to 9. Like, that's what we did. I mean, and that's just by allowing the menu to be all over the restaurant. And then November 17th, 2017, I get a call to go look at a space. Actually, it was a week or two before I get a call to go look at the White Bull space. And the next day I had a lease. So November 17th I signed. I just signed it at 9 o'clock in the morning. I go into work and all the top dogs are there. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So I walk into the room, basically got ambushed. They were just like, we know you're opening a restaurant. What the hell's going on? You were supposed to be our guy. And I was like, yeah. I was like, but you know, you can't knock me for wanting to do my own thing. Like, you know, it's not like you guys are taking on partners. I have money to spend, and you don't want any more partners. So what do you want me to do? I was like, I have to go do my own thing, and I've been an owner. I know exactly what I need to do to make it work. And then, you know, I gave them basically an 8-week notice, and they were like, no, you can go. Same exact. Yeah. And then to me, that only fueled it more, right? Now I'm like, especially with being basically backed up to his other restaurant, and like we kind of share a backyard, it only fired me up even more to just want to continue to do better.
Yeah, but you're blowing 246 out of the water, so what are you talking about, dude? Like, who even goes there anymore?
I know.
Cacciatore or whatever, you know? Like,
but
sorry, y'all.
No, you ain't gonna listen to this anyway. too small town for him.
But wouldn't you want? For me, the best thing to know is that my staff, I'm going to train them, and they're going to go on and do their own thing, and that's going to make me feel better and be happy for them, you know, and like
so I have a partner here named Brian, and Brian's a great dude, man. He's got a lot of business sense, and he knows exactly how to treat people, right? So that's the biggest thing for me is like, if I'm going to partner with somebody, I want to make sure that you and I have the same mindset when it comes to culture and the team, right? So like, you know, I'm always the first one. I'm like, we need to give out bonuses. Like this last go round, he beat me to it. He's like, we need to give out bonuses to all your best staff members, so on and so forth. But you know, the conversation him and I had, like when we first started opening this restaurant, was, listen, man, we take care of the people that take care of us. So we may get to a point where we have 10 restaurants, right? You know, we have 2. We actually, just to let you know, we have another one on the way. We took the Mikado space in West Midtown, and we're doing something called Bastone, and it's a mozzarella bar with White Bull's pasta. So, and we have like 160 seats. It's gonna be sick. Yeah. But Bastone is the ace of clubs in Italian, and that was my grandfather's favorite playing card. So if you look back on the wall over there, he's the guy in the top left wearing a really fancy hat and the sick shirt.
I can't see it.
So yeah, so it was his. So he loved it. Every time he had it, he used to fucking slam that thing on the table. So I was like, you know, we might get to a point where you're at 10 and done, and you don't want to do anymore. But let's say, you know, we have this really good sous chef here and executive chef here, and they want to go do their own thing. Well, why let them to go do it when they can work under our umbrella? They can become a partner of it, and you know, reap the benefits off their hard work, but also we back them. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that's the only, to me, that makes the most sense, right? Like, why would you allow somebody to leave when you could easily, you know, they know what they're doing?
They're instantly your competitor if you just say
exactly.
bye-bye.
Instant, within instant, there's no camaraderie, it's competition.
Yeah.
When all you had to do was, you know, $20,000 check, $10,000, $5,000, zero. Yeah. Just say, hey man, we got your back.
First month's, last month's rent.
That's it.
You know,
we got your back.
Yeah,
nothing.
Here.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a good thing to know about people like us, is that we will do that, and we'll continue to want to build our team and continue to build our portfolio, right? I mean, we want all these things, and we want to get bigger as restaurateurs and owners and stuff like that. you know, with it comes a lot of stress, but if you can pass some stress off to somebody else but also make them a partner so they reap the benefits, it only makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
the team. You know,
Yeah.
you want to keep the team together. You
Yeah,
know? Like
of
you
course.
take your strongest guy,
You don't wanna
and then
leave
you
him.
draft somebody else into the
Yeah.
team. It's going to take a long time for this guy to be part of the
Yeah,
team. You know, And
absolutely.
it's-
So you're working at homegrown. You got the space. You give your notice, and they tell you to leave.
Tell me to leave. Yeah, the next thing I do is I book a 2-week trip to Mexico, to Isla
love it.
Mujeres,
I love
my
it.
favorite little
I love it.
island in the Yucatan, and we just go down to Yucatan, you know, and just clear our minds
Yep.
and just game plan, get ready, and say when we get back, you know, we're gonna work our ass off, and you know, like little did we know it was gonna be like
Yep.
a good solid 3.5 years for me. Opening the restaurant every day,
Yeah.
closing the restaurant every day, like really putting in those hours that even as a head chef, thinking that I knew how to do everything and thinking that I did everything, that was really an eye opener.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh man, you don't know shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know, you think you know shit because you're the head chef,
Yeah.
and it's a whole different ball game.
It's
you know,
it's very humbling owning a restaurant.
when it's your money.
Oh yeah.
You
Very
know, and
humbling.
every dime of it's your money. You know how much money you got to get open, and then you got this target date on the day that I got to get open, and you know, I hope my landlord's not listening, but we lied. I lied and said, you know, this is how much money I got. I
Yeah.
got $80,000 in
Yeah.
the bank. I had $12,000
Yeah.
in the bank after I wrote him his check, first
Yeah.
month's rent, last month's rent, paid my Georgia Power. I had 12 grand in the bank. We painted the whole restaurant. We did everything ourselves.
Yep.
And I had to get open.
Yeah.
There was no other choice, or it was going to go under. And we opened the first weekend that we were open. We had 3 servers. We're a breakfast restaurant, so you know you bring people in from dinner restaurants. We had people that were working dinner, people coming in to breakfast. The first morning, like our supposedly head server shows up piss ass drunk,
course.
coked out,
course.
like everything. And
Yeah.
he ended up getting fired on the spot.
Yeah.
We ended up having to close early. We only were open 3 hours the first day we
My
were
God.
open because it just went to shit.
Yeah.
I had couple of people from homegrown that were coming and spying to see what we're doing. They're in the damn dining room when we closed.
Yeah.
We locked the door. Nobody could come in. Nobody could go out. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. You know,
Oh,
I'm drinking
God.
Fernet like
Yeah, of
crazy.
course, you have to.
know, like,
Yeah.
it was a shit show, like
Yeah.
the total definition of a shit show. But we made $3 grand that day. I
Yeah.
needed that $3
Oh, yeah,
grand
of
to
course.
get going that next week, and I was like, fuck it, you know, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
You know, let's try it again. And the next weekend was, you know, 30 times better. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the first time you get in the kitchen and everything you fuck up,
Yeah,
you just
you
go to
fix.
bed at night and you're like, I'm not doing that again. I'm
Yeah.
not doing that again. And that's the mentality that's the line cook mentality
Yep.
that I had when I opened, and it was like, I'm not gonna let anybody make me look bad. But then I think it helped me for my staff is that I had that line cook mentality that I didn't want them to look bad because of me, because
Yeah.
I'd been a line cook, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let you burn like that, so I'm gonna make it where I saw what you fucked up, and even if you don't know how you fucked up, I know how you fucked up, and I'm not gonna let you go down in flames again. And then that was my mentality after that, is like just watching everybody, and I really didn't know that part of keeping everything in check.
Yep.
From the front of the house to the back of the house,
It's the hardest
and not
part.
letting the combustion start
Yeah.
from you fucking burning down and going to shit.
So that's a big thing, right? So like, you know, owning a restaurant and being there, you know, 7-8 days a week, you know, I mean, you're the head chef and you're the owner. You're not just the head chef. You're also the GM. You're also the psychiatrist. You're the accountant. You know, because everybody comes to you with a problem.
The
So-
maintenance man.
Oh yeah. So like the thing is, there's days where like I don't pick up the saute pan and I leave at 11 o'clock at night, fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how this could even possibly be. Like, I'm more tired on days I do 17-hour shifts of just answering emails and getting back to people, having meetings, than I am working a 17-hour line cook shift.
Mhm.
It's brutal.
Dude, I love it when somebody didn't show up and I'm on saute
Oh, yeah.
all day, and I can just
Absolutely.
like cook eggs on Saturday morning, and then my egg guy's like acts like he wants to blow his brains
Yeah.
out, but I'm like, dude, you got the easiest job
Yeah.
in here all day long. All you're doing is this.
That's it.
Every 30 seconds, just flipping a pan, dude,
Yeah.
and it can be exhausting because you're just putting out fires
Yeah,
all
all
day
day.
long, and figuring out how to fix things,
Yeah.
just like Mr. Fix It.
Yeah.
You know? And
Some of my best shifts, some of my favorite shifts are when you know, like especially now on a Monday at White Bull when the line goes down because we're getting creamed and pasta station goes down. That's my favorite shift of the day. I'm like, somebody, a manager, come take over the pass. I got
Here I
pasta.
go,
You jump
yeah.
on pasta, and you're putting out, you know, you're putting out black spaghettis, and you're putting out, you know, 40 of these new pastas that we're
Then
doing.
you got your guy going, thank you,
Yeah,
thank
of
you,
course.
and you're like, that's
And-
what I'm here for.
And I think it's important, right? Because like your staff sees the fact that you can still swing the hammer.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
a lot of these guys, like, you know, a lot of these chefs in the city or across the country, like, when was the last time they actually they put aprons on every day? When was the last time they actually hit the line? You know, I mean, other than to make a video, they don't really ever sit back there and actually make a pizza. Like here, my favorite shift is when like Elliot, my chef here, he's like, dude, you coming in Friday? I was like, no, and I'll show up at 6 and I just jump on, because I know we're getting busy, jump on the station and just start making pies, get them through until 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then see you guys later, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, because there's, trust
Well,
me.
then
man.
they want you here because you know you want to
Oh,
be
yeah.
the owner that they
Yeah.
want here instead of the owner that they don't want
Yeah.
here. You know,
Yeah.
like you work in restaurants and like the owner's out of town, they're in Aruba
Yeah.
or they're in
Yeah.
Turks and Caicos, and you're like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
how long are they gonna be gone? But
Yeah.
I want to be the boss where my cooks are like, damn, Hudson's not gonna be here today, like.
Yeah.
Because I want to do all the shit they don't want to do, and
Yeah.
I'll go around every day and say, "What can I do for you? What don't you want today, or what don't you want on the menu this weekend?"
Yeah.
And like, my fry guy every weekend, he's like, "Please, Hudson, just don't put chicken livers on," you know. Like,
I love chicken livers.
Yeah,
I love
I mean,
chicken
yeah,
livers. That'd be
they do.
delicious.
But you know, and then I'll go around, you know, when I know we're about to get killed, I'll be like, "What's the one item you don't want on your station this week? What about you? What about you?" And everybody will say what they don't want. And I'm like, "All right, 86. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
take it off." And
Yeah. That's awesome.
you know, if you're a successful restaurant and you're creating an environment where people want to go to, not just for the food, but for
Yep.
the environment and for the hospitality.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it doesn't. Their favorite thing might not be on the menu, but it's the environment.
Yeah,
and
man.
what
Absolutely.
they want.
Yeah,
And
we say it all the time. Like, I'm like, for the amount of fun that we have in the restaurants when we're all there, like, you know, me and Elliot here, me and my cousin Pat at White Bull, like, we shouldn't be doing as good as we're doing for how much we fuck around. You know what I mean? Because like we're having fun. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I tell people all the time, like, you need to look at your team, right? If you have a team full of fantastic people that can cook really well, but you got one of them that may be your best cook, but he's a fucking shithead, get rid of
Yeah,
him.
fuck that,
Get
yeah.
rid of him.
Nobody wants an asshole on the line,
No, dude,
yeah.
I'd rather work pasta for the next 6 weeks knowing that guy's never coming
Yeah,
back.
me too.
I'd rather come in every day. Like, I despise the days where I would come into the restaurant and be like, fuck, man, this guy's working tonight. And now we're at the point where I'm like,
Exactly.
you know what, screw it, see
No.
ya. You're gonna be somebody else's problem.
dude, I'm the chef that has the checkbook ready. If you
Yeah.
throw an attitude, like if you've been
Fine.
there for 2 weeks, I already have this shit ready. I just write you a check. This is not gonna work
Yeah.
out. Get out of here, man.
Have you
know?
found it to be, obviously, you know, kind of jumping around now, but you found it lately to be a little more difficult?
We haven't really hired anybody because
Oh, wow.
I'm not hiring a shithead. I'm not
Yeah.
paying somebody who needs to be trained. We're
Yeah.
a breakfast restaurant, you
Yeah.
know. Like, how much can you expect to make coming into a breakfast restaurant? We sell 90% food,
Yep.
10% alcohol.
Yeah, wow.
And it's 90% food, and we're cranking all the time back there.
Yep.
And I would rather do it myself.
Yeah.
You know, like
Because you bring that guy in, and that guy turns into being the cancer that brings it all down.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. I agree 100%.
I'm probably, you know, I got a keg of Tropicalia in my walk-in for my guys at all time with
Yeah.
a pump tap.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, and every day, you know, we count down the hours. We
Yeah.
know at the end of the day we're gonna have a good time. We might cuss each other out
Yeah.
during the middle of the day, but everybody helps everybody out. And if you can't be a swing man and help out the guy next
Yeah,
to you,
help
then
jump on dish.
I've got no need for you in my
Yeah.
kitchen because I want to run lean and mean. And lean and mean means that everybody helps everybody out. That you're cognizant of the guy next to you, and if you see him going down in flames, that you better jump over there
Yeah.
and help him instead of jumping on your phone
Yeah,
or sitting
God.
there or crouching down behind your station. Like, I don't play that shit.
The cell phone, to me, is the number one thing that basically is eventually going to kill the entire restaurant business. Is the cell phone when
Yeah.
it comes to staff. Now,
Or the
granted,
ear pod,
oh,
like that
forget
ear
it,
pod, man.
forget
I'll
it.
grab an ear pod and
dude,
like crush that
I've
shit.
thrown them in a deep fryer.
Yeah.
I'm like, here you go, dude. Here's a check for $100. Go buy
Yeah.
yourself some new ones, and you're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Those are the words. I've cut headphones like all the time.
Even Dish, you know,
Yeah.
my Dish guy's like, I'm on Dish. I'm like, so what? What if I need you?
Yeah.
You know,
What
and,
if
you,
I
and I
don't
call
scream
your
at you?
name and you say what?
Yeah. Or what if I'm saying behind you, you can't hear me and I burn you?
Yeah.
Not my problem. That's yours.
Yeah.
Not mine. You shouldn't have had your freaking headphones in. So you open up Rising Sun. You come out the gates crushing. Has it been crushing it the whole time? Have you had up and downs? How's it been this whole time for 5 years?
Weekends crushing it.
Yeah.
Weekdays not so much. In my mind, I thought we were going to be a really busy lunch restaurant. I wanted to do meat and three.
Yep.
You know, growing up in the South,
Yeah.
in South Georgia, you know, I ate meat and three all the time. You
Yep.
know, we'd go to our favorite restaurants. There'd be always 8 or 10 different vegetables on the menu, 6 or 7 different meats.
Yep.
And we did that all the way up through COVID. You know, we had a really
Wow.
good lunch program. It was up and down, but it was consistent. You know, it was consistent, but we needed it to be just a little bit busier. But
Yep.
that was, you know, when we started, Avondale was a ghost town. And
Yeah.
now it's just so much has changed over the past 2 years
Dude,
that
my,
it's.
my brother-in-law works for Engel and Volkers, and he's a real estate agent. He sent me to go look at a house out there. I mean, they're putting $1 million homes in like the back, like some of these areas that, you know,
those
eventually-
back areas where they're
my
not
God,
really-
I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell is this? So for me, it's like, I personally love Avondale. I mean, I've always loved Avondale. From the minute I moved here, we always looked to buy a house out there. And then, you know, we ended up buying elsewhere because we just couldn't afford some of the houses out there. But Avondale, I love. I've never been anywhere but Rising Sun in Avondale. I come there for you, period. I don't go anywhere else. I don't stop anywhere else. Straight to you, straight out. That's it. But so yeah, man. So it's been doing well this whole time. COVID hits. What happens?
COVID hits, you know, of course, the brakes get put on everything on that March the 15th, which was the Sunday.
We opened March 17th here. Ironic.
That March the 15th, we knew it was coming. My kids called and said school's canceled next week,
Yep.
and I think we were one of the first restaurants in the area. We just said we're not opening
Yep.
again until Wednesday. We didn't know what to do, you know. Like we got no partners. It's the money
Yep.
people are me and Catherine. That's it. You know,
Yep.
we make the decisions. We butt heads on the decisions, and we just decided to go only. Everything, you know, just went down. It's
Yeah.
sad. You know, we
Yeah.
had put everybody on unemployment, started a GoFundMe campaign for the employees.
Yep.
They all got GoFundMes. We worked everybody as much as we could. It was dismal. You know, we started selling frozen biscuits to go, frozen
Yeah.
chicken pot pies,
Yeah.
like all of this, you know, crazy brainstorming. We kept it open just by me and Catherine working, and I had my right-hand man, Ryan Bumgardner. He's the man. He'd been with me. Most of our employees have been with us 5 years, 4 years,
Yeah, that's
3
amazing.
years, you know, and then when they're that part of your team, you want to take care of them. You
course.
want to figure out how to have them there, but make it make sense for them also to be there. In front of the house is tough as shit, you
Yeah.
know, because they're working on gratuities, and
Yep.
back of the house is a little bit easier. But you know, shit just went down. We were just scraping and surviving, and luckily our landlord worked with us.
That's awesome.
They cut our rent down to half.
Nice.
Not all of it was forgiven. They did forgive a portion of it, but we were paying half rent for a portion there, and we just used our savings and worked every day. And you know, basically, it's like a cash business at that point.
Yep,
You
of course.
know how much money's coming in. You know what you got to do to keep going, but you're looking at it every single week, trying to keep it afloat, changing the menu, dropping
Yep.
things off. You're looking at Uber, Grubhub, all
Yeah.
of these. You know, like. I
We-
don't know, money grabbers, you know, they were taking
Yeah.
your percentage, and they were just
30%.
sharks at the beginning, and 30%, but now we were able to negotiate
Nice.
Uber down
Oh,
really,
nice.
really low, and
Yeah.
after all of this, but it took a long time. We had
Yeah.
to drop them all.
Yeah.
We were on them for a minute, but then we dropped them all, and we were like, fuck this.
Yeah.
We're making them money, we're not making us money. And then finally we dropped them all, but we got back with Uber because we were able to negotiate it down to 18%.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And then they allow you to change your price now. It used to, you had to have your price be the same on the menu as with them, but now you can have an Uber price and you can have their price where you can absorb
Yeah.
their percentage. So
Yeah.
we're Uber only now, whatever. I don't want to say what I think
No, of
about it. It
course.
sucks.
Yeah, of
Nobody
course.
wants to do to-go food as
Yeah.
a chef,
No, I hate
but
it.
you want your customers to be able to eat their food if they want
course.
to in their house, but how good is it going to be when
I
you got
know,
like
man.
a hash brown dish with melted cheese on it, and then all of a sudden when they get it, it's all seized up, and it's like a big block of bullshit.
Neapolitan pizza, it's the worst thing to get to go. It is straight mush by the time it gets to your house. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
We tried getting these boards to put underneath, whatever, poking holes in the boxes, everything. I mean, the Uber Eats reviews were hilarious in the beginning. Mushy pizza. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
We didn't want to put this on. You begged us for it. We put it on for you, and now you're gonna write a fucking bad review. Like,
imagine a plate with scrambled eggs, grits,
God.
bacon, and a
Shields
biscuit. By the time you get it, it looks like
you pick it up
lunch
like
lady
this.
shit. Yeah, dude.
One
Like-
brick. That's too funny.
So it's like, what do you do at that point? But people got to eat, you know. And at that point, they're just making a turd, you know. Like, oh, well, you just want to eat that shit. Like, that's all you're really doing.
Yeah.
But also, they want to support.
Yeah,
So
of
also,
course.
you have to the heart of the community and the people that supported us through this. You know, you always wonder if they've eaten here because they're eating here or whatever. But after COVID and seeing the support we had from the community and
It's amazing.
knowing the customers now by name and by heart that I didn't know before that were still there supporting us when we were open for business, but through COVID, the ones that supported us and patted me on the back and shook my hand and said, Hudson, you can do this, and like those are lifelong friendships now. That they were customers before, but now they're friends and they genuinely cared, and they might have gotten the food and thrown it away. You know, we had one of our customers came up, bought $1,000 gift certificate and just tore it up right in front of me.
You know, 100%, same thing happened at White Bowl. We were selling pasta out front the whole time during we were closed. We were selling $3 bags of pasta, and a guy walks up one day, became, you know, always been a good guest of ours, and we were just like, he's like, hey man, I want a $1,000 gift certificate. I was like, for what? He's like, well, you know, when you guys reopen, I want to make sure that you guys taken care of. I was like, okay, cool. So go swipe a card, $1,000. Looks me right in the eye and rips it up. He goes, hey man, he goes, all we want you guys to do is succeed.
Yeah.
And that for me that was like the biggest eye opening, right? Is when COVID hit and everything happened, I felt like it did two things to me, right? One, it really made me like have a ton of gratitude for what it is that I've accomplished so far and what it is that people want and the people that come in, the amount of gratitude. But then on the other side of it, it also made me realize that I have no ego anymore when it comes to my restaurants, right? For before it was like I'm doing this and that, and that's it. Now, like I feed you because you want this.
Mm-hmm.
I quickly realized foie gras don't pay the bills.
Yeah.
Pasta pays the bills. You know, and that was a big thing for me, right? Because I was always that guy that was like, I want to do fine Irish dining and I want to do this and that. And then you come here, and our number one selling pizza here is a pepperoni pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Like we sell 400 a
funky
week.
pizza.
Yeah, I know. But we'll sell 400 of those pepperoni pizzas a week. At White Bowl, we'll sell 175 black spaghettis a week. I took them off the link because I was like, screw this, we're gonna do it. But then people were begging to have them back, and it kind of just made you realize, as much as you think you're doing it for you, and you are, those guests are the ones that are making you be able to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you know how much it sucked, like putting your heart into a restaurant and then having to shut the whole thing down and nobody coming in for a whole week. Like that broke my fucking heart. I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. You know how hard I've worked to get to this point right now? And then you quickly
realize
realize,
having them come in is the joy.
Yeah, and now you see these people that literally bought 20 bags of pasta, knowing, and me telling them, listen man, just don't go in the freezer or the refrigerator. You're coming back in 3 days and I'm gonna have to give you more because they all went bad, because ours is like, it's freshly extruded. So, you know, we were making so much pasta at that point, we didn't have time to dry it all out. We had to like literally take it, put it in a bag and send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And people were just like, screw it, it's fine. They're like, if it goes bad, we'll just come and buy more. I'm like, are you for real? I started feeling bad and giving them like an extra 3 or 4 bags on us, because I was like, I feel bad because I know this shit's going in the garbage.
Yeah.
And like, you see them now, and like the amount of gratitude I have for those people is bigger than anything else that I've ever accomplished in life. It's, you know, it's being there and being able to take care of those people now, and being able to now afford to buy them a bottle of wine on us because now we can, is even bigger to me. And that's the most important. It's like those relationships we've built during COVID for me are the relationships that I don't think, unless they move away or I move away, is never going anywhere.
Yeah, and like
know?
when you open a neighborhood restaurant, you don't live in that neighborhood and you don't know those people, but then you begin to know them, and to them, you're part of the restaurant. You're part of their neighborhood.
Yeah, their community.
You know, before that they're part of it to you,
Yeah.
and they're your community, and then you learn that, and then you want to do things for them, and you want to do things that they want instead of things that you want as a chef.
Yeah.
Thinking that, oh, I gotta rack my brain, and for me it's like, oh, I gotta smoke this joint and come up with something good, you know, and like really come up with something good just to wow everybody. But it's not that wow all the time. It's just being there and being that place for them to get away from, you know, whatever they're trying to get away from.
Yeah, I love it. So Rising Sun, COVID hits. Now where are you at?
Now we're trying to staff up.
Yeah.
You know, we closed. We're 7 days a week, breakfast and lunch. We did dinner only on Friday and Saturday for the neighborhood.
You still have that, or is that?
No, we do not.
Okay.
We were only going to be breakfast and lunch, and the neighborhood when we first opened said, you got to do dinners, and we did Fridays and Saturdays, and it became very successful. And for me as a chef, it was great because I got to do shit other than breakfast stuff. You know, breakfast is, people want what they want for breakfast. You can't change it a lot.
Yep.
And dinner went away, Mondays and Tuesdays went away, so we're still Wednesday to Sunday. I'm hired up all the way for my Wednesday to Sunday, but I need to staff up, and I want to open Friday and Saturday more than Monday and Tuesday. I need to get that Friday and Saturday for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I want to be at least the nicest dining in Avondale for Friday and Saturday night. I don't want to be any more than that. I want to be there from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock for the people in the neighborhood. It's still a slow neighborhood. People aren't out all night. And that's my next step is I'm saying we're going to open on Friday and Saturday by September 1st.
Nice.
So I'm trying to staff up for then. In the meantime, you know, I'm just brainstorming, trying to figure out how to make things dynamic, but also make it easy for me because I want to staff that, but I want to be the guy when we open back up to see the faces, to thank the people that are coming in, maybe step away eventually, but you know, I want to be on the line Fridays and Saturdays, and at least, you know, people have told me that they miss the dishes that we did then, so at least I don't have to be ultra creative. I can just come in and just look at my old menus, do some of those things.
Have you ever thought about doing a like a gun show way of it, where like you get somebody to come in and cook with you on like a Friday and Saturday and see how that goes? Like have like for instance, like I come in and I put 4 pastas on your menu for the night.
Yeah,
and
come on.
I would love, dude, I'd love to. And, dude, there's some Fridays and Saturdays where we're staffed, where I'm like, dude, I wish that's what I could be doing right now. Like you know, I mean, just working the line on a Friday and Saturday, working pasta or working pizza, like that's what I live for now. So like now being able to go and do it somewhere else is almost even like that much more fun for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what the dynamic of that is what I want. You know, I want somebody there who wants to be there and cook and wants to bang shit out and like fucking kick ass all night long. And I got one cook who's been with me forever, and he doesn't want to work nights again. But I'm like, David, you work, it's gonna be me and you, dog. He's like, just me and you, and I'm like, just me and you. I'm gonna make it easy. I swear to God, it's gonna be easy as shit. But we're gonna be fucking like just laughing when people order shit. It's gonna be that easy, but we're gonna be like, they want that? Oh yeah, we're just like. Dude, but that's what I want. I want it to be like, I want to bring people in. It's, you know, it's hard asking people to come in to do things because, you know, you don't want to ask somebody to do something and not get paid, and you know what people are used to getting paid and what people are worth, and you know, great chefs, it's hard to say, hey, come help me in my restaurant and stuff and all this.
So first week in September, I have nothing going on. I would love to come work with you.
All right.
I would love to. Be the first Friday, Saturday. I'm your guy.
All right.
I'd love to.
I love you, brother. That would be awesome, man.
So, what's next for you? You opening more restaurants? You're gonna build a bigger farm? What's next for you?
We've looked at opening other restaurants. We're kind of in the market right now. The market's crazy right now. Nah, we want to be in more of a dead zone. I think right now and before, you know, being in a dead zone kind of sucked. I'm like, I should open somewhere else. But also it's a money thing. You know, I got 3 kids that are about to go to college. I don't want to open up something that I have to bring in a partner. I don't want to take away from their college money. I want to still have a positive cash flow. So we're looking more in outlying areas, looking at second generation spaces, smaller spaces than where we are now, with more outdoor dining, and it's kind of
outdoor dining's here to stay, man. Even through the winter times now. I mean, people like we're with White Bowl. I mean, we're trying to outfit that now with the heater on every table to get ready for December, just because I just don't think it's going anywhere, man. I think like what what people showed us in the winter months this past year, I think is going to be here to stay. I mean, you throw a heater on their table. There were some 33, 34 degree nights where backyard patio white bowl was packed on a Friday night. And I mean, listen though, we bought 20 heaters, right? So we spent $3,000 on heaters and then turned them on full blast. It was 120 degrees back there.
Yeah.
Once they're all on at the same time, people were out there with literally in t-shirts because they're like, it is so fucking hot out here. I was like, yeah, that's the goal, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So now we're trying to do it where it's all plumbed in and we got like gas or electric, whatever it is, trying to get it all on there. But it's like, you know, we got to buy them now because if I wait until September, October, like last year, the last heater I bought for the last table at White Bowl was $600 last year. I'm like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
When I started buying them in September, they were $150 a piece. Then by the time I bought the last one in November, it was $600. It was crazy. And then so many of them get destroyed. So like, you know, moving them around and all that stuff, so they all get damaged. 7 of them didn't even start anymore. It was like the best and worst purchase ever because they lasted 2.5 months.
So those ones you were giving away a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago, they work.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, man, take them, please.
Somebody come take them.
Take them, please, for the love of God. That's too funny. So, looking for something else, hopefully soon, is what you're looking for, and you're looking into dead zones. I love that, man. I love it. Start your own little community. I love every minute of it.
Yeah, it's like the community will come around if they need it, and you're in there and you got heart for them, you know, and really the community does want to see you there. They want to see me there. They want to know if you open a restaurant, when they walk in the door, when they see your face, that's the welcoming face, you know, and that's the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's cooking. Yes, I want to eat, you know, and
I the way I dedicate my time now, right, is like if I see your reservation or your wife's reservation come through, that's where I am for the night, right? Like if I get a text message from like one of our better guests, and it's like, hey, Pat, you're gonna be at White Bowl tonight. If I'm 100% staffed here, I'm going there, and that's what I've been trying to do. Is like, because you know, like you made a comment to me when you came in, one of the last times you came in to White Bowl, and you're like, dude, I love the fact that every time I'm in, you're here, but like. I spend my time looking at my reservations, making sure that I know, like, you know, anytime I see, because your wife's normally the one that makes the reservations, so anytime her name's there, I'm like, I'm there for the night. And that's where I try to be, because, you know, I mean, yes, Grano may need me that night, but I'd rather be there knowing that I'm getting to cook for you for the night. You know, whether I'm on Expo and sending food back if it's not right or something like that, like.
I'm gonna come here regardless of whether you're
I know,
here or not,
I
but I just love seeing you here.
I know, man.
And I will never send anything back to the kitchen or never say anything, okay? You don't have to worry about that with me. I'm the human garbage disposal. I will eat whatever, you know?
I love when you come because we get to test stuff on you. We're like, you know what, man, we're testing this dish. Let's see if Hudson likes it and see what he says. But that's awesome, man. So listen, I got a couple spitfire questions before we end it here. And it's literally just one word answers. That's it. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
So it's funny because a lot of people say Pepsi so
What?
far on here. Yeah, man.
Tell me their names. They're not my friends anymore.
Yeah, I know. You can say that on this podcast. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Nice. This one's specifically for you. Spring or fall produce? Because for me, I'll tell you what.
Spring.
So what is it? Asparagus, peas, morels, all that stuff, or is it greens and things like that?
It's fresh radishes.
Yeah,
To
which
me,
is butter.
I put squash as a spring produce,
Yep.
like that first couple of squash, the Costa Romanesca zucchinis,
Oh, yeah.
the fresh cilantro that's coming out. Spring is when you get to taste the freshness after the end of the year, and fall is like, okay, well, I'm just getting all of this stuff, and for me, when I plant fall, I want to plant fall crops that I can overwinter, and I'm still going to have some of them during spring.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be tired of them by now, and like once that spring hits, you know, I want the sugar snap peas, the Avignon radish, the cherry bell radish, the Hakurei turnip.
Oh yeah.
All of that earthy tasting stuff, but it's not earthy and spicy, it's earthy and fresh, and it's got a lot of water content in it.
That's what I was saying. I feel like it does something to you, right? Those spring vegetables.
It's that water content, you know, but you don't get that off of like a Nerotundo Spanish radish or a watermelon radish. Doesn't have the same water content as a cherry bell or the Avignon. That really fresh arugula that doesn't have the woody stems in it, and you get the butter crunch lettuce, and it's the water minerality that I'm digging off of that spring. But I would rather farming in the fall is way easier because once you kill the weeds, if you plant it, it's just
That's it.
simple cruising all the way through. You cruise all the way through until spring again.
I
and
love it.
You're not weeding and watering all the time. In spring, you got to hit it with water. You got to pull the weeds back. It's not as good because it's easier.
Yeah, of course.
Probably.
Of course.
You know,
Of
like,
course.
the harder you work, the better it is.
Yeah.
So spring's better because you have to cultivate the soil. You got to get everything
Yeah.
ready. It's a fresh start with everything.
Yeah.
You know, fresh dirt. Everything's turned over, and
Yeah.
so spring.
It's funny. So like when people ask me, they ask me all the time. Which please don't ever ask the chef this question because our answer is everything always. What's your favorite thing to cook? People ask me that shit all the time, and for me, it's fish. It's fish or vegetables because that takes technique to cook, right?
Mhm.
Where a piece of steak, all kidding aside, like you throw the fucking thing on a grill, you add salt and pepper, it's done. You're done, and it's gonna taste good.
Every dad in the world knows how to
man,
cook
exactly.
a steak.
But
you
like,
know,
but like cooking a piece of halibut correctly or striped bass, and like cooking a carrot the correct way,
Mhm.
and making sure that it's not mush or it's fucking raw.
Yeah.
To me, is just the most, and that's the thing that always like people ask me. I was just asked that question on 4th of July. I'm like, stop asking me this fucking question. All right, it's fish or vegetables.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
always. All right, so one more. Pasta or pizza?
Pasta.
Yes, I fucking love you, man.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you,
I love
Dad.
you, my
Love you,
man.
brother.
Thank you so much. Talk soon. Awesome, dude. Thank you,
All
man.
right, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. But so it'll probably be out in like a few weeks.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna shoot you a text in the next couple of